We need to get this show on the road because this is going to be an action-packed, content-filled, exciting video. We're going to cover more ground than the seamstress on The View. It's been about 5 months since we took our first look at 338 ARC, and we're going to see where it stands today and if there's been any improvements in accuracy and some other issues we've had. We're going to look at the current Gen 3 variant of the GQ Armory Paladin and see what improvements are on what was already a very formidable offering. Then we're going to take a quick look at the Eotech VUDU 3-9 and see what this ultra-compact scope is like in real-world use. We'll even take a brief look at the GQ Armory Leviathan, which is a very formidable 338 suppressor. We're calling this the review of the GQ Armory Paladin, and it is that, but at the same time, it's a whole lot more. Let's take a minute to talk about 338 ARC. For those that don't know, the idea behind 338 ARC is you can deliver really massive subsonic rounds in the around 300 grain weight in a small AR-15 size package, giving the shooter a more powerful subsonic for the AR-15, and the supersonic loadings give shooters a 338 projectile capable round for the AR-15. Some of you may be out there asking, what exactly is 338 ARC? Well, essentially it's an ARC casing which has the parent case of 6.5 Grendel necked out to receive a 338 diameter bullet. It also makes some claims about having a more efficient case capacity for subsonic loads, especially when compared to 8.6 Blackout, meaning that obviously this holds less powder than the 8.6 Black, so you should be able to better fill the case up when loading, which usually leads to better consistency than all the empty space that is in an 8.6 Blackout case. If you watched our first video, some results were a little disappointing. Accuracy was very poor with the factory ammo, and that was with 2 guns, including this one, the GQ Paladin. Well, I've developed my own handloads now, and the accuracy problems seem to be resolved. Since we're on the subject of accuracy, let's jump right into it and see what kind of accuracy we can get out of Paladin Black Edition and my handloads. For the Paladin series, GQ utilizes an ultra match grade barrel from MozTech, and MozTech makes great barrels especially for subsonic rounds like 8.6 Blackout and 338 ARC. Another extra little touch is GQ gets the barrels made with a wide mouth feed ramp extensions that allows this gun to feed those large projectiles on the 338 ARC more reliably, especially those in the Hornady Sub-X rounds. Originally we were getting some really bad accuracy, but with some hand loads we actually do have this gun shooting sub-MOA groups, which is pretty phenomenal for subsonic rounds. Now I will say there have been a lot of new loads for 338 ARC come out in the past few months, and some of those might post similar performance to my hand loads, but the Hornady Sub-X was pretty disappointing. Also, you get 2 options in barrel twist from GQ Armory, a 1-in-5 or a 1-in-3. For those that don't know, this refers to how fast the rifling twist inside the barrel rotates. For instance, 1-in-5 means that the internal rifling makes 1 full rotation every 5 inches. For example, 1-in-8 is pretty standard, 1-in-5 is fast, 1-in-3 delivers a crazy amount of RPMs on the bullet, but this does typically help stabilize heavy subsonics. 1-in-3 is more for subsonic primarily and will actually spin apart the Hornady Black loading because that projectile can't take the RPMs the barrel exposes to it. 1-in-5 is more suitable for most shooters and will play nicely with both supers and subs. I went with 1-in-3 because it fits my shooting more, but 1-in-5 is probably right for more people. But the results you are actually seeing in this video is from the 1-in-3 twist barrel.
Impact, 11 o'clock. Impact, dead center.
I also stretched this out all the way to 600 yards with really good accuracy and consistency. With this barrel and my ammo, 338 ARC is now something I can get behind, and I'm really impressed with the way this package is shooting.
Impact, about 8 o'clock.
Okay, so let's talk about the Paladin itself, and I want to say that the full name for this is the Paladin PDW Black Edition. This is also the latest and greatest Gen 3, so let me break down for you what all of that means. Paladin is the premium flagship lineup for GQ Armory, so these guns have all the bells and whistles. PDW means it's a 7-inch barrel model, and there are other lengths to choose from. This is a black edition. GQ is kind of known for their black guns with the gold accents, which are very cool, but this one is all black. And this is also not a carbon version, meaning that it has an aluminum handguard and not a carbon fiber handguard. GQ is known for making ridiculously lightweight guns, and this gun weighs in at only 4 pounds and 3 ounces, and it's under 21 inches collapse. Not bad for a gun that can deliver 300 grain rounds accurately and reliably out to 600 yards. Since our last GQ video, they have come out with a few key upgrades for their Gen 3 models, and these updates are in all current Paladin models. For the Gen 3, you now have full ambi controls. There's a lever on the right side of the gun that facilitates bolt release and bolt hold open. Really nice feature. The normal bolt release is also oversized, and there is also a left-handed mag release now as well. Also new is the GQ Arc Grip. I really like these grips a lot. It's very vertical with a nice palm swell and a good texture. GQ has designed their own gas block, which is really nice. It adjusts easily with one Allen wrench, and it actually has a detent on the inside so you can feel the adjustments. They also have made a slight relief in the handguard to easily access the adjustment. The receivers are 70-75 billet and hard coat anodized, and weight has been cut everywhere it possibly can to give you the lightest possible rifle. From the machining of the receivers to having all titanium takedown pins, buffer detent, trigger pins, handguard screws, and pistol grip screw are all titanium to cut weight. Steel is always heavier than titanium, and GQ Armory has done everything they can to cut weight without sacrificing quality, including making all of these small parts out of titanium. The trigger is very good with a crisp 3-pound pull, absolutely no slop, and a really short reset. Not sure what else you could ask for out of a trigger. The magazine release is oversized, and the magwell is massively flared. GQ delivers an exceptionally lightweight gun that can also perform at a very high level. I really only kind of hit the high points. There are so many small details worked into the Paladin, from coatings on different parts to finishes. Every part of this gun has been engineered to be exceptional in all aspects. When you have a rifle that's this compact and this capable, sometimes finding the perfect optic can be a challenge. The rifle is capable of shooting really far and accurately, but you don't want some really big scope on it. While at the same time, a simple red dot could be a little underwhelming for the capabilities of this firearm. We use several optics, but the one I probably like the best is the Eotech VUDU 3-9. This is a variable power scope that is basically the size of a red dot. The extremely small footprint, teamed up with the 9 power magnification, makes it an extremely appealing choice, especially for some of these ultra compact guns like the Paladin. What I like about this setup, especially when combined with the EFLX red dot, is I zero the scope at 100 yards and I zero the EFLX at 50 yards. Now subsonic 338 arc drops pretty fast, but this setup allows me to have close engagements with the red dot, longer 100-yard engagements with the scope, and this also makes the bottom of the reticle on max magnification a little over 200 yards with my load, which gives me a setup that I can quickly engage from close quarters out to 200 yards in a very small package. Now there is some room for improvement. I know that it would greatly add to the price, but I would love to see a first focal plane model, and if Eotech could add parallax adjustment, that would just really make this next level. Because I have shot a 9 power scope out to 1,000 yards, obviously not with 338 arc, but that kind of shot is easier with some parallax adjustment. Not saying I couldn't do it as it is, but it would be easier. Anyway, this thing is really cool, and I hope to see more ultra small footprint scopes from Eotech, because that is what makes this thing so amazing, is the small size. Just for more of a size comparison, here's the VUDU 3-9 next to a Nightforce NX8 on the left, which is already a very small scope by most standards, and on the right of it you have an Aimpoint Comp M4 red dot. Just so you can kind of see where it fits in size-wise, the thing is very, very compact. I am sure by this point in the video you have noticed that the silencer is a good bit longer than the barrel, but it just sounds so good. I want to take a moment to talk about the GQ Armory Leviathan, which is GQ's silencer for 338 ARC and 8.6 Blackout. For those that don't know, GQ Armory works closely with Otter Creek Labs to develop their silencers, and they are purposely driven to work with the GQ guns as a system and also tailored to the calibers that GQ uses in their guns. All that being said, the Leviathan is tailored to be great on 338 ARC and 8.6 Blackout, and it is. It is easily one of the top silencers for these calibers, delivering nearly unmatched performance. It will also not have any negative effects on accuracy that some cans seem to have. When trying to shoot subsonics accurately, especially at distance, you can't have anything hurting your accuracy. I've only ever shot the Leviathan L, but they do make a smaller version, and I imagine it is probably the best given its size. If you're thinking about a GQ gun in 338 ARC or 8.6 Blackout, I highly recommend the Leviathan to go with it. But beyond that, if you're just shooting 338 ARC or 8.6 Blackout and want a phenomenal sounding can, I also highly recommend the Leviathan. So after now shooting approaching 2,000 rounds of 338 ARC and countless rounds of 8.6 Blackout, I thought I'd share some thoughts and comparisons. First of all, I know many of you just want to know which is better, 338 ARC or 8.6 Blackout, and it's rarely that simple. But if you want to make it that simple, 8.6 is better. The case capacity is actually an advantage. You can load heavier, bigger bullets on the subsonic side of things, and for the supersonic side of things, you can have more powder, giving them more velocity. It also feeds out of standard AR-10 magazines, and just overall seems to have more of the small kinks worked out. However, 338 ARC fits into an AR-15 package, and that alone is a very big deal. Obviously, AR-15s are far smaller than AR-10s, and that makes a difference. I put it like this: you can get 7/10 the performance of 8.6, but you can do it in a very small, sexy package. These images are of a GQ 8.6 Blackout versus the 338 ARC. Now the 8.6 does have a 12-inch barrel versus the 7-inch on the PDW, but you can still see that there's a pretty significant difference in size. I will say that the GQ Armory Paladin is easily one of the best packages for 338 ARC because they seem to have took what they learned from having a very formidable 8.6 Blackout rifle and applied that to their 338 ARC Paladin. GQ Armory seems to have less of these small kinks that the 338 ARC has on most platforms. Their Ultra Match Grade barrel from MozTech features those premium wide mouth extensions, and that's basically a whole lot of words to say that this barrel will feed the factory Hornady ammo out of the more standard ARC mags and not require the more rare 400 Legend mags required to reliably feed many of the 338 ARC rifles on the market. We also had some pretty subpar accuracy using the Hornady Sub-X loading, but I have come up with a very accurate load for 338 ARC, and as of right now there are a lot more companies loading 338 ARC, and hopefully some of those are also producing accurate 338 ARC. While I only have experience with a handful of 338 ARC ARs, I will say that the GQ Armory Paladin is the best I have used. They took what they learned from 8.6, applied it from the start, and made the road a lot less bumpy than what some other manufacturers are experiencing. This is a very solid gun in any caliber, but easily one of the best for 338 ARC. I love the changes made for the new Gen 3, making an already phenomenal package just a little bit better. Thank you guys so much for watching. A huge thank you goes out to Optics Planet for providing some of the optics used on some of the guns in the videos. Use code Alabama at checkout, it'll help you and the channel out at the same time. If you get the chance, go by and check out alabamaarsenal.com. Over there we have in-depth articles on a lot of the stuff that we've reviewed, just a deeper dive, and you get early access to videos with much, much more. So go check out alabamaarsenal.com. And if you're not subscribed to the channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button because as always, we have some really big reviews in the works that you won't want to miss. If you want to know what those reviews are way before they hit the YouTube channel, check us out on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, where you can see what's being reviewed in real time. If you want to help support Alabama Arsenal, the absolute best way to do that is through Patreon. These videos can be surprisingly expensive to make, and every little bit helps and is greatly appreciated. There's also Alabama Arsenal gear available right below the video if you want to go out and represent. And as always, guys, thank you so much for watching.